year? Have they?
Yes.
Has that been commenced? And do you also curate those films in collaboration with Knife or?
No, this particular thing.
Only the festival. Thank you.
Question to Asim. Since you're bringing coals back to Newcastle,
The people who have contributed in whatever way to this space, I really thank them and thank you.
Thank you. We're counting on your support.
And now I would like to welcome the gorgeous, beautiful, very talented guest of honor, Tisca Chopra. Thank you so much.
Would I like to say something? Well, I'm in love with this space. That's for one. This is stunning. You know, I grew up in the hills, in the mountains actually, in Kabul, Afghanistan, where perforce there was a shortage of space, so we had only small cinemas to go to. And it was in one such darkened hall that I actually fell in love with the movies. And it just brought that feeling back to me, you know, that things would be shifted around. It would soon become somebody else's, you know, part of a wedding hall or whatever else would happen to that space. So, fortunately, that's not going to happen, right?
Never.
Never. But I love this space, and I think it's the idea of a community developing within Bombay, which is sorely missing. And also, what you said was very relevant about fragmented and commercial stuff. Sadly, we're forced to do a lot of that kind of work in order to be able to make choices like Highway, which was one of the greatest delights. He's become a dear, dear friend, Umesh and Girish who wrote it. And about Knife, I didn't know it was called Knife. I just found out today that it's called Knife. I have a couple of Kissa, then 10 ml.
We didn't show Kissa, we showed 10 ml.
10 ml love,
yes.
yeah. So yeah, I look forward to being part of the festival in New York sometime
Next time
soon.
you have to come.
Yes, I will indeed. I will indeed. Yes.
Questions?
क्वेश्चन करना है कीर्ति कीर्ति
so what was to you the most challenging part of working in this language and, you know, in a milieu that's probably quite different from your usual films? I don't know. Was it very different for you?
Yes and no. Yes, because okay, let me say no because why? Because my character doesn't speak Marathi. He made sure of that. He was not chancing that. He was not. But it was different because a lot of times one is used to a very like he doesn't say action, nor does he say cut. And so I asked him a question. So this has been my sort of favorite thing to ask Umesh. We've become very dear friends over the past several years since we made the film. He was so he came to my house. I will narrate this incident to you. He came to my house with a minor granth. It was like about that fat. And he said, that's the script of the film. And I looked at him and I didn't know him at all. And I said, you're going to narrate that? I mean, I have a meeting in about an hour and a half, so I'm not listening to that. But the way he started narrating and whatever happened, I canceled that meeting. And then we sat and we chatted and we had several cups of tea and coffee. And it was just exquisite the way he, you know, the world that he wove, that So what he started with was that we live in this world where human beings have this arrogance of being a race that is dominated the planet. So we only think of ourselves, we only think in human terms. We're not thinking of spiders that may be roaming around and have lives, or other animals or other life forms that are there. And also we think in terms of our own types. We don't even regard other human beings. So he started with that and said, you know, so he starts with a shot of like an animal or a bird or a, you know, some various things that are living around us at all times, and then moving on to from there to the human being, back to the animal, to the mountains, to everything. So I love that idea that, you know, this we're all integrated into one cosmos and we just see one thread which we want to see, and that's the human thread. So that was an amazing thing. The other thing which I really liked was that whether we're static in one place or we're not we may or may not be physically moving, but we're always journeying. You know, our life is a journey, and that sort of journey was what Highway meant to me. Multiple people are leaving Bombay to go to Pune via the expressway, which I've travelled on many times. But I saw a new, because Umesh and Girish have, obviously they live in Pune and they've travelled to Bombay like a few million times. And they've seen parts of the highway in times of the day in manners that we may never have seen it. And that you will see, it's beautifully shot, the film. But what was really interesting was that the journeys that people are making out of it, so, you know, I've also, we had a chat about the sound design of it, how it starts with a lot of chaos, multiple levels of sound in the city with the sounds of construction, trains, traffic, random horns and film songs playing on loudspeakers and all that kind of clutter. You come out of that and one by one the sounds leave you and you come into the quietness of the expressway where there's just the sound of speeding cars, and then even that at one moment just stops. And so the confusion and the clutter in people's brains, and what happens when you stop, when everything just stops, what kind of a journey do you make then, is what Highway was all about, the journey inward. And I felt that there was a part that he didn't shoot. You didn't shoot the part where my character goes off to do some random things. He didn't shoot that, unfortunately. But I really, really enjoyed the 4-hour narration. And maybe Umesh can tell you a bit more about if anyone else has anything else to discuss, or maybe, I don't know, after the film, I don't know.
We're going to have a conversation after the film also. I'm going to ask you the same question. You'll have to make it as fresh as you answered now.
But we have the press here. Is there anybody from the press who wants to ask something?
Siraj Sayyed, India correspondent, filmfestivals.com of Paris. Tisca, you just mentioned that you grew up in Kabul, and it'd be very interesting to know the kind of films you were exposed to. You mentioned about these cinemas, makeshift cinemas that you saw films in. But the first few films you saw and how they impacted your idea of cinema. And secondly, what are your first impressions of attending a film festival? Obviously, you wouldn't have had one in Kabul at all. So maybe after the family came here, and since then, you know, the comparison of the journey from film festivals of then to NIF of 2016.
So, my dad was part of attached to the Indian embassy as a sort of a semi-diplomat, and there was a very small Indian community of about 1,000 odd people, and 400-600 of them we knew really, really well. So we had a lot of film screenings in the Indian embassy, whichever was the latest hit of the season. After 4 or 6 months, that film was some form of copy was brought. I can't remember because I was too young what format they used back then, maybe a videotape or something. I don't even know videotapes existed. But whatever format, they brought that in, and we saw those films at the Indian embassy with the Indian community, and everyone made a big deal out of it. There was samosas and jalebi and, you know, whatever Indian things we could manage. And normally there was around Holi or Diwali when also a little bit of a celebration happened and all of that. The cinemas in Kabul were very peculiar. They were the Afghans in the late 70s and early 80s were obsessed with Hindi films, and Zeenat Aman was like the big thing at that point, and they were like really into her. And Kader Khan, I think for some reason, was very big. You know, these are this is what I can remember of. You know, these were things which they would like quote. They couldn't speak a word of Hindi, but they knew the dialogues that were big at that point. And I saw a film called Hatari as a kid, and that was my
Wayne, right?
yeah.
Yes, genre, yes.
And that was my my moment of falling in love irretrievably, completely. And from then on, I wanted to be an actor. However, my family was they couldn't understand. They said, "What, you want to act? Really? Like, okay, go act in your room and do whatever you want to do," because they were academicians, and to them, somebody wanting to act was as ridiculous as saying, "Okay, I want to go and build a house on the moon," or worse. I mean, you could still plan a house on the moon, but there was no way that you could act in a movie. I continued my secret passion. My dad would take us to see movies like Gandhi, and this very serious and meaningful cinema and things suitable for kids. I would escape and see the odd film and come back, shut my door. The rider on me was that I was not allowed uh, to come second. I had to come first in class. That was like mandatory, because if I came second, then everything was cut off. So I had to come first, and if I did that, I could do pretty much else whatever I wanted. So to come back, watch, do my homework quickly, watch a nice film wherever it was playing, and repeat laughing scenes, love scenes, crying scenes, even dying scenes. I would shut my room and I would perform them to myself and think, yes, ye. I was happy, and my parents thought this teenager has lost her marbles completely. But they said, "Okay, so long as she's getting the marks, it's fine." So for me to come to Bombay was a bit of a it was very odd for my family. They all just about have accepted the idea now, after almost 20 years of being an actor. So yeah, that's my story.
Just a brief comment on film festivals.
Film festivals, I think I'm not sure which was my first film festival. I think Goa, Ifi. Ifi
Yes.
was my first film festival. It was what I can remember is it was incredibly hot, and
It still is. That's Goa.
yeah, and also incredibly badly organized for that year for some reason.
That year, yes.
That year, very
Much
very
better.
badly organized. That year, I've been there subsequently, but it's been rather an improvement on the first one. But I was there at a film screening of mine. I think they were showing Tare Zameen Par at that point, and I thought the sound was very bad. I thought everything was quite not up to the mark. I hope they've sort of,
Everybody's listening.
I'm an actor. I'm allowed to say things.
You've not been to Knife yet, and I hope that Asim and the company.
I'm
they-
Bye,
sorry,
bye.
sir, to interrupt, but can you please now?
Bye.
I'm sorry.
Sure.
Can we take these questions in the press lounge?
Sure.
I just want to quickly do two things. I would like to introduce all of you. Please, if you could just join us here, please. I'm just inviting everybody. The actor in Absent. He is the Absent, right? O.P. Srivastav, director of Life in Metaphors. He is supportive of Tisca Chopra. And we have representing A Far Afternoon, a painted saga by Kishan Khanna. We have Rajeshwari and Sayali from the Pyramid Art Foundation. They are the producers. Thank you, sir. And I would request Umesh and Tisca to please join them for a photo op, and Anuradha and Asim, please. Now I have to make the next announcement. Thank you so much for being here.
Is it one short, sharp one or tung tung tung?
He's the director.
Thank
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. There'll be Q&A, one-to-one
both of you
Q&A.
corner left. Tisca man, यहाँ पे. Sir.
Single. We don't have to bore everyone. एक single. सबको bore नहीं करते ऊपर से.
Sir, इधर right side. Sir, यहाँ पे. Look center, both of you. Umesh. Tisca man, right side. Umesh sir. अरे यार, tungsten और गिरा सर. उमेश समोर होते. तो समोर होते. मैम. सिंगल. हाँ, सिंगल. इसमें नहीं है.
अच्छा मैं ऊंचा बोलूँगी.
So ma'am, can you tell us something about what's your favorite about and what's your character you are playing?
हाईवे एक मराठी फिल्म है और आजकल जैसे आपको पता है कि मराठी फिल्में ही कंटेंट के बलबूते पे बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रही हैं. उमेश और गिरीश का काम मैंने पहले देखा था और हाईली इम्प्रेस्ड विद देयर क्वालिटी ऑफ वर्क. और इस फिल्म की कहानी बहुत टिपिकल नहीं है जैसे हम हिंदी फिल्मों में देखते हैं या इवन मराठी फिल्मों में देखते हैं. इट्स बॉम्बे से जर्नी शुरू होती है बहुत सारे लोगों की और बॉम्बे पूना एक्सप्रेसवे पे एक ट्रैफिक जैम हो जाता है एक एक्सीडेंट की वजह से और हर एक गाड़ी में एक कहानी है. तो 10-12 कहानियाँ एक साथ चल रही हैं. बहुत ही कॉम्प्लिकेटेड फिल्म है उस बनाने के लिए और देखने के लिए आपको वो लोग मिलेंगे. आप इस फिल्म को देखने के बाद जब भी आप बॉम्बे पूना एक्सप्रेसवे या आपने बाजू की गाड़ियाँ देखेंगे तो आपको कुछ एक आइडिया आएगा कि आपके आसपास भी कितनी कहानियाँ चल रही हैं. क्या कुछ चल रहा है उन लोगों की लाइफ में. इट्स एन अमेजिंग थिंग टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ अ फिल्म सो स्पेशल.
फेस्टिवल का आगाज भी इस फिल्म से ही हो रहा है. ये कितनी अच्छी बात है एक सेल्फी आर पार फेस्टिवल का आगाज इनॉग्रेशन विद योर फिल्म एक सेल्फी आर पार. ये कितनी अच्छी बात है. हाउ गुड इट वाज.
हाईवे न्यूयॉर्क इंडियन फिल्म फेस्टिवल पे बेस्ट फिल्म और बेस्ट डायरेक्टर का अवार्ड जीती है. तो जो फिल्म फेस्टिवल के क्यूरेटर्स हैं उनको लगा कि यही बेस्ट फिल्म है जिससे हम G5A का NYIFF का आगाज़ करें बॉम्बे में. आई थिंक दैट्स वंडरफुल. आई एम वेरी हैप्पी. पाइपलाइन में एक बहुत ही स्पेशल फिल्म है द बाइस्कोप वाला. एक और है 3 देव. फिर एक और फिल्म है जो तमिल और हिंदी में बनी है काक स्पर्श जो मराठी सुपरहिट के ऊपर बेस्ड है. तो ये 3 फिल्में हैं मेरी इन द नेक्स्ट फ्यू मंथ्स या इस साल. उसके बाद फिर अभी डिसाइड करेंगे.
ओके बाइस्कोप वाला की बात करें उसके बारे में अगर किस तरह की फिल्म होगी.
आई होप कि मेरा जब मैं फ़िल्म करती हूँ तो मेरी अपेक्षा यही होती है कि जब मैं फिल्म स्क्रिप्ट पढ़ती हूँ या डायरेक्टर से नरेशन मिलता है तो मेरा दिमाग हमेशा उस तरफ जाता है कि यही अगर सिनेमा हॉल के अंधेरे में लोग देख रहे हैं तो उनका क्या रिएक्शन होगा. मुझे लगता है कि बाकी सब चीज़ें एक साइड है. एंटरटेनिंग होना चाहिए, मज़े आने चाहिए लोगों को, कुछ जुड़ना चाहिए उस कहानी से. उन्हें कुछ जब वो बाहर निकले तो कुछ एक अपने अंदर एक रिलैक्सेशन, एक रिलीफ, एक सोच कुछ तो लेके जाना चाहिए फिल्म से बाहर. तो आई थिंक बाइस्कोप वाला ऐसी फिल्म होगी.
आपके रोल के बारे में बात करूँ.
मैं एक अफ़गान रेफ्यूजी का रोल प्ले कर रही हूँ बाइस्कोप वाला में. और इसके आगे अगर मैंने बोला तो प्रोड्यूसर्स खुश नहीं होंगे.
अफगान रिफ्यूजी उसके लिए डिटेलिंग करी स्टडी करी
आई ग्रू अप इन अफ़गानिस्तान इन काबुल. तो मैं पर्शियन बोलती हूँ और रेफरेंसेस हमने थोड़े स्लाइड्स देखे, कपड़े देखे, उस टाइम का जो लुक एंड फील था वो देखा. बट बहुत कुछ मेरे अंदर भी था बिकॉज मैं वहाँ पे ही बड़ी हुई. तो नॉट सो हार्ड. हाँ, आई होप सो.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just need to know.